We're slowly letting people in. We're so happy to have you this afternoon on our third and last webinar for February. Of course, we'd like to know all of you. So if you could share it in our chat box, you can share with us your name and the organization or where you are calling in from this afternoon. And of course, we also want to know how you guys are. So kung nakikita nyo sa screen nyo, meron tayong meter dito na may iba-ibang faces. So we're in the middle of the week, on the last week of February, and I'd like to get a pulse check on how our participants are doing this afternoon. So pwede nyo ring ilagay if you're feeling red, if you're feeling yellow, or if you're feeling green. Okay, so for me, I'm actually feeling a bit light green to yellow. Dahil it's the middle of the week, we're almost done with February, and we all know that there's a long weekend this weekend. So I'm really just excited to finish all my tasks for this week and have a restful weekend. How about you guys? So yeah, we have participants joining in from Don Mariano Marcos Memorial State University from La Union. So we also have Rochelle. Hi, Rochelle. Good afternoon. So Nestle is also joining in this afternoon and she feels green. Oh, and we also have participants from Young Focus. Hi, Jenny. Good afternoon. Madel is also feeling green. Vanessa's feeling green. A lot of us are feeling green, so that's good. We're so happy that you are all feeling green. And for those of you who are feeling a bit red or orange, we accept that, we understand where you're coming from, and you don't have to be ashamed of that. So this is a safe space to discuss and be honest about how you're really feeling. So Marisa is also feeling green. Jenny is feeling yellow. So we're sending hugs to you, and we hope that this webinar will help you turn that yellow into something lighter. So we also have participants from Eastern Pangasinan and some are from Baguio. Hi, Robin. Wow, there are a lot of people. So again, if you have colleagues or classmates joining in, you can tell them that we are starting in a bit and they can still join us in our meeting room. And for those who can't log in on Zoom, we are currently recording this or live streaming this webinar over on YouTube. And we will be sharing the link of the YouTube live stream here as well. We also have participants from Quirino Memorial Medical Center. Good afternoon, Ryan. And Stephanie is sharing that she is feeling light green. Okay, we're gonna start in a minute. So I hope that you have your pen and paper ready and that you are all in a comfortable position so that you can enjoy the webinar this afternoon. Okay, so I think we're ready to start. So again, good afternoon and welcome to the third webinar of Positive Workplaces this February, entitled May Pag-asa pa ba tayo? Spotting Red and Green Flags of Wellbeing. And again, for those of you who don't know me yet, I'm Gabby. I'm the Learning and Development Associate of Positive Workplaces, and I will be moderating this session this afternoon. So again, we are Positive Workplaces, and our mission is to co-create cultures that enhance the well-being of the Filipino workforce. Now, I'm pretty sure you're all asking, how do we fulfill our mission? Well, we do it through what is called positivity ripples. So we start at the very core of it all, which is through leading the self, where we teach others to lead their self by imparting the knowledge and skills that will better equip your well-being. And the reason why this comes first is because you must learn how to lead yourself before you decide to lead others. And when we move on to leading others, we influence them and improve their well-being as much as yours. And when we do that, we create positive cultures and ultimately positive workplaces. So this February, we have been focusing on relationships. Dahil alam naman natin na February is the love month. So we should focus not only on our relationships, but also our relationship with work. So during our first webinar, Raj and Nikki shared with us the magic framework to keep our employee engagement high. And John last week shared with us the PERMA framework para makita natin kung paano pa ba tayo pwedeng bumagay sa trabaho natin. And this afternoon, we are going to talk about the red and green flags of well-being with Monica. So just a few reminders so that we can start. Have another device ready or be ready to go to another link because we are going to use Mentimeter again for this afternoon. And we hope that you have a paper and pen so that you can take notes. And we highly encourage your engagement, but please be respectful in our chat. Also, we are going to give you your e-certificates after answering the evaluation form at the end of this session. And it will only be open for 30 minutes. Again, make sure to write your full name and email address because we will not be issuing edits for the certificates. And if you will not be able to receive it right after answering the evaluation sheets, kindly wait for 2 days before following up. There might be a delay because as you can see, ang dami natin ngayong hapon. So we will be accommodating all of that. So I guess we're ready to start. So this afternoon, we are very, very lucky to have our resource speaker, Monica Silona, the People Operations and Culture Manager of Pag-asa PH. Now I'm turning you over to her, Monica.
Thanks so much, Gabby, and good morning, good afternoon, everyone. So let me share my screen. So hi everyone, I am Monica. I'm Monica Siliona. As Gabby said, I am currently the People Ops and Culture Manager of Pag-asa. In addition to that, I am also a talent management intern with Positive Workplace in relation to my Masters of Arts in Organizational Psychology. So as part of the requirements, we are encouraged to take internship and practicum in fields that we are interested in. And I am definitely passionate and I am an advocate of positive psychology in the workplace. So thank you so much, everyone, for coming to join us this afternoon. Before I get to the meat of this afternoon, I'd like to give a shout out first to my co-designer, to Joyce, a fellow intern here as well. She helped me design our presentation today, and really appreciate if you could give her a heart react or an applause react because everything that we do here, it's really a team effort. So I wasn't alone in this. Okay. So let's start. May pag-asa pa tayo? Spotting red and green flags for or of well-being in the workplace. But before we start, I'd like to get to know everybody in the room or get a feel of the room. So if you could please join us in Mentimeter. So the link is now in the chat box. And I hope you can see me sharing my screen. All right. So just two questions that I'd like uh, to know. So first is I'd like to know your occupation. So are you a student? Are you a working student? Part-time, full-time working? Here's then maybe we have some freelancers here. So the freelancer gig labor market is really booming as well. Or if you're looking for work. All right. Let's wait for a few more people. So a lot of people are full-time working, student. Okay. All right. So mukhang lumalamang that a lot of us are full-time working. And then sumusunod ang mga students natin. Okay. So thank you for that. So I asked this so I could understand your background. So some people are putting in the chat as well, full-time working for the government. Okay. And then the second thing, I'd like to know the age ranges in the audience. So where do you find yourself in this spectrum? Just so I understand, like, baka kasi the examples I talk about or my sharing, mahirap makarelate or there's another way I can put it so we can all understand. All right. So it's looking like we're all, or a lot of us are in our 20s to 40s. So really, sa kasagsagan ng careers natin. And then some of us are 40s and above, perhaps management, perhaps leaders already. All right. Okay, so thank you so much for participating in this short getting to know you portion. Today, this is how our learning roadmap is going to look like. So we'll start with answering the question, why is it important? Bakit nga ba importante to be attentive to well-being at work? Not just to our well-being, but like the general well-being in our workplaces. Second is, what is hope theory? How does hope come into play? And then lastly, how do we build hope amidst the negativity, amidst the red flags, burnout and toxicity in our workplaces? All right. So let's start. Why is it important to be attentive to well-being at work? Let me start with like a few stats. So based on PSA or the Philippine Statistics Authority, a lot of Filipinos are actually working 40 and above hours per week. Nakaka-relate po ba kayo? Parang is your work week ba less than 40, 40, 50? Parang hindi po natatapos. Oh yes, oo. And a lot of us are working greater than 40, even 48 hours because we need to generate income or kasi kailangan ng job, 'di ba? Napapa-OT tayo kasi may kailangan tayo matapos, etc. O hindi natatapos yung trabaho. Next naman is that next stat from PSA is that Filipinos can start working by age 15 and we work until 60 plus. I think retirement age dito, and correct me if I'm wrong na lang, is 65. And it really like blew my mind. Parang we can work almost 50 years of our lives, maybe even more. Diba? So if we're spending so much time at work and we're spending a lot of our life or like a huge portion of our life at work, malaki yung impact nun sa well-being natin. We're exposed to a lot of challenges at work. We're exposed to a lot of obstacles, and we're exposed to a lot of stressors at work. Diba? So what are stressors? Stressors po ito yung mga nagkukos ng bodily or mental tension. In short, stressors cause stress po. Okay? And I want to ask the audience, ano po yung top source of stress sa work? So if you could join us again in Mentimeter, ano po yung top source of stress ninyo sa workplace ninyo? Tapos, I see po, nag-start na din sa chat. So somebody said money is the top source of stress to work. How about the others po? Deadlines, COVID, especially if pumapasok na po kayo sa office, that's only trabaho, co-workers, ano pa yung mga nandito? Workload, deadlines, yung sometimes our bosses, lack of support, culture, so many po. Meron din po tayo dito sa chat, changing work schedules, minsan maraming nagbabago all the time. Alright. So, iba't iba po yung stressors natin. And baka po yung iba sa inyo, binabasa nyo to, tapos inisip nyo, bakit may nasistress dyan? Or, wow, ang dami, or baka yung baliktad, wow, ang daming kapareho ko. Parang may karamay pala ako na sila din nasistress na ganyan. Ang stressors po, specific siya minsan sa tao. Pero, for sure, lahat tayo, may punto na napupuno na tayo. Or baka nga yung baliktad na feeling yung feeling mong ubos ka na. And that's okay. Kasi everyone po has a breaking point. Lahat po tayo may punto lang na pagod na talaga, na parang gusto na nating umayaw. Diba? Kasi, going back lang dun sa mga stressors natin, nagpapile up po tong mga to eh. Baka feeling nyo, onting OT lang naman dito para may OT pay. Or, onting tiis lang ng pagsabon ni boss. Baka naman, good, parang brownie points ko dito sa kanya, pogi points ko sa kanya. Or, baka like, onting sorry lang sa pamilya. Na parang, sorry, hindi ako makapunta dito kasi may deadline. Mapopromote naman ako. So, trabaho. So, isipin niyo yun, lahat yun, magpa-pile up, trabaho lang tayo ng trabaho. Yung sa akin po nangyari, because I have background in the BPO and baka may makarelate, yung papasok ako ng madaling araw, wala pa yung araw. Tapos, pag tingala ako, wala na ulit yung araw. Tapos na yung araw, tapos uwi na ako, tapos ulitin ko siya bukas. So, paulit-ulit lang yun. Yes, yung mga hectic schedules po natin. Now, kung yung mga unting-unting sakripisyo po na yun, yung mga onting okay lang yan, so ngayon lang naman yan, yung mga onting sakripisyo po yun, nagiging malaking perwisyo siya in the long run. And nakikil po natin to as burnout. Familiar po ba yung burnout na term? Actually, another term nga for burnout is yung sacrifice syndrome. So yung pagsakripisyo ng sakripisyo na napiperwisyo na po tayo. Ang burnout po, dinefine na ng international, WHO po to, dinefine na po siya sa International Classification of Diseases, na ito po yung stress na coming from chronic workplace stressor. So specific po siya sa workplace. So this is what it looks like po. Number 1, pagod na pagod po tayo. Hindi lang yung medyo pagod, yung talagang exhausted na pagod. Yung kung pwede lang, hindi na muna ako gagalaw. Pangalawa is, we have a lot of negative feelings about the work that we're doing. Or kung hindi po negative, parang may distance, nagkakaroon tayo ng distance sa work natin. Kung ano yung dating gusto natin gawin, parang ayoko na ngayon, di ba? Kung parang sa relationship po, at sa punto-punto, bato-bato sa langit. Kung parang po sa relationship, kayo nagkaka-cooling down period, nag-grow apart kayo. O wala nang passion, tama. That's another way to put it po. And then finally, nagkaka-self-doubt. Magagawa ko po ba to? Nandito ba ako dapat? Like, can I still do my job? May ganun po. Parang yung self-efficacy nyo, yung belief nyo po sa sarili nyo na kaya ko gawin ito, nag-win. Nag-waver po siya. So ito po yung mga different dimensions ng burnout. Na baka po na-feel nyo na ngayon, na-feel nyo dati. So, I want to understand po, ngayon, kung nasan kaya kayo in terms of yung different dimensions at saka ng burnout. So, if you can join us po again in Mentimeter. Okay. So, Nandito po yung tatlong dimensions ng burnout. So, gamitin niyo po yung sliding thing. Yung sliding thing po. Tapos, i-rate nyo po, kung sa exhaustion, nasan ka? Mas malapit ka po ba sa strongly disagree or sa strongly agree? Negative feelings about yung sa work ninyo, or yung basta may nawala na kayo ng passion, medyo nag-cool down na. Self-doubt. Okay? And then, base dun sa scoring nyo dun sa tatlo, nasan kaya kayo sa burnout? Okay. So we're seeing na mas malapit tayo po as a group at least, mas malapit tayo sa strongly agree. Okay? I'm happy to see naman na there are some people na find yourself in the extreme strongly disagree, and I hope na ma-continue po yan. Okay. So right now we're a little more than halfway towards strongly agree. All right. So let's see. So hopefully po with this webinar, we'll pull everybody a little bit closer to the other side, to the left side. So thank you po so much for dun sa pag-share ninyo. Oh, exhaustion talaga yung nafe-feel ni na as isa po nating participant in the chat. Now, hindi ko magandang feeling to, right? Tired ka, tapos mega, tapos sobrang daming self-doubt. So, sa tayo nagte-turn, 'di ba? Kung yung big part ng buhay natin, work, is making us feel this way, what do we do, 'di ba? What do we do to make ourselves feel better? Sometimes, doon po tayo pumupunta sa mga unhealthy coping mechanism. So, excessive smoking, excessive vaping, excessive drinking, maybe some illicit drugs po. Pero hindi naman automatic na basta burnt out ka na doon, pupunta ka din sa extreme na unhealthy coping mechanism. Iba-iba po to. So, for example, Shopee, Lazada, mga retail therapy, parang yun yung doon muna tayo kukuha ng pampasaya. Food, yes. Food is life. Comfort food natin, pag-grab dito, pa-deliver, etc. Yung dun po, before, sa work ko, social media, yes. Yung dun po sa amin, alam mo, it's not a good day kapag kalahati ng office bibili ng milk tea sabay-sabay. Yung parang, or milk tea araw-araw. TikTok, may magandang nagsabi dito, self-help book. So that's one of the healthier mga coping mechanism natin. So, at this point po, na-imagine niyo po ba? Pagod ka, baka hindi mo na love yung dati mong love, bato-bato po ulit sa langit, tapos nagsi-self-doubt ka na, baka nawala na yung confidence mo. And then nasa office ka, tapos yun yung bit-bit niyo po. Ano sa tingin niyo yung impact po kaya sa mga katrabaho niyo, sa mga nami-meet ninyo at work, going towards work, even kahit online po yung mga ka-meeting ninyo. So what do you think po is the impact to those around you of burnout and even yung unhealthy coping mechanisms? So, yeah. That's great. So, pag di ba nakikita niyo po ba yun na pag pumasok kayo sa kwarto, tapos minsan nakikita niyo, alam niyo may nag-aaway or basta may off, di ba? Negative energy o poor performance yourself, di ba? Kasi pagod ka nga, especially sa sarili mo, poor performance mo, ayun, negativity, neg vibes, o sila na rin nababurn out, di ba? Nafe-feel yung drain. Distracting, it's very distracting to have burnout. Oo, sadly, minsan nga napapalash out tayo sa iba, kahit wala naman silang kinalaman, di ba? So, negative feelings. So, yun, di ba? Mafe-feel mo talaga in your workplace kapag if one person is burnt out, kung isang person palang burnt out, mafe-feel mo na. Paano kaya kung marami kayo, right? And this is because when you have stressors, diba? And it piles up, and it piles up, and it piles up. And it triggers burnout in different individuals, in yourself, and in others. Nagkakahawaan po kayo. A term there is dissonance. Nagkakahawaan po tayo ng stress. Nagkakahawaan po tayo ng emotions natin, ng negativity natin. And that's and ganyan po talaga if we're in a social setting, di ba? Because we exude these vibes talaga. And when nagkakahawaan na kayo and medyo norm na siya or matagal na siyang ganon, dun po tayo nagkakaroon ng toxic na work culture. Because negativity becomes contagious, diba? You may be lashing out on with others or lashing out sa ibang tao, or baka ang nangyayari din po is one way is you're walking on eggshells. Yung kumbaga parang alam ko ito bad vibes na to, ayoko dagdagan, or yung masyado naman nagtitimpi kayo ng sarili nyo para lang walang away. Kasi that may ano din yun may vibes din yun na parang bakit parang masyadong quiet? Bakit parang there's a heavy weight in the room, in the team, etc. So toxic work cultures. Now, kapag toxic po ang work culture natin, I don't hope you can relate, but I hope you can agree na naapektuhan po yung engagement, diba? It's hard to come into work na yun yung madadatnan natin. And then, it's hard to become satisfied with your job then. Right? Na yun yung environment that you are working around. And finally, kung hindi ka engaged, kasi hindi ka din satisfied, most likely, yung performance ninyo, mo as an individual and ng team nyo, magsasuffer din po siya. So there are, aside from the emotional impact, meron din tayong mga performance impact of having a toxic work culture. At this point, kailangan ko po humingang malalim kasi even just talking about all the possible negativity, red flags sa office, nakakabigat po talaga siya ng feeling. So let's take a break and let's talk about some green flags. Kasi kung gasta lang po tayo ng sarili natin, mauubos po talaga tayo. So kailangan din natin na meron tayong pinagkukuhanan na para lang sa atin. So mag-quick review po tayo. I hope nakapunta po kayo dun sa mga previous talks this February. Because these are the frameworks na na-mention din ni Gabby earlier. Ito po yung mga frameworks na na-discuss po nila at the time. So, for example, we have the magic framework. So, ito po yung diniscuss nila Nikki about how you can have higher engagement in the workplace. Sige nga, kung sino po yung nakapunta doon, can you remember any of the 5 letters? Sa chat box po, like M-A-G-I-C. So, meaning, yes. So, M means meaning. May meaning po ba yung ginagawa ninyo? May bigger purpose po ba na sinaserve? And then A, yes, is autonomy. Are you allowed to do the best work that you can? Wala namang micromanagement na medyo nakakasakal. G is growth. Meron po bang opportunities for growth? Nafe-feel niyo po ba na sakto lang yung challenge sa skill level niyo na nakakatak ang inyong capabilities? I, impact, yes. So, na-recognize po ba na the good and relevant results ng trabaho mo na baka steps down the line pa? Yung favorite ko pong kwento na to, na nakagilap ko din po nung talk nila Nikki, is yung janitor sa NASA, na nung tinanong nung former president ng US, oh, what's your job here? Sabi niya, I'm sending a man to the moon. Yung talaga yung, alam niya yung impact. And then finally, connection. So can you feel connection? Do you feel belongingness in your work, in the workplace? So, sabi natin dun sa previous webinar na if you have magic, because you deserve magic, you can have higher engagement in the office. And that's definitely a green flag. The following week, diniscuss naman po ni John ang PERMA framework. Review po ulit. PERMA. What does PERMA stand for? So these are ways naman to figure out if okay yung job fit ninyo. Okay yung fit mo ng job mo. Swipe, hindi ako dating app person, swipe right or swipe left ba? Okay? So let's start with P. So may positive emotions po ba na na-elicit? Masaya ka ba sa work mo? Happy ka? Mostly green days, etc. E is engagement. Yes, that's correct. Is there engagement po sa workplace ninyo, sa work ninyo, sa group ninyo? How about R po? Relationships. That's right po. So can you form good relationships? How are the relationships at work, etc. M is meaning as well. So napaka-important po talaga ng meaning kung meron talaga siya sa magic at saka sa perma. You find meaning. Does your work have meaning for you? And finally, accomplishment. May sense of accomplishment po ba kayo? Na-recognize po ba? Yan. So, if these are also present, perma, very good po. Green flag po ulit tayo. Oh, John is saying thank you po for remembering. Okay. And then lastly, we have the flow theory naman po. And in the flow theory po, it talks about the state of flow, yung experience na yun, na when you're doing a task and then hindi yung the sweet spot po talaga is yung hindi ka ma-distract. Hindi mo ma-notice that time is passing because it's that you're very much in the moment. And that happens when the challenge and the skill are more or less equal. Kasi kung mas mataas si challenge, mapapanik ka. Yeah, correct, tama. Nakita ko po sa chat. And then, kung masyado ka naman mataas sa skill, tapos walang masyadong challenge, yun po yung comfort zone natin. Okay? And then in the middle is yung growth zone natin. Diba? So, narinig yun na po ba yung sinasabing, wow, you're in the zone? Or nasasabi niyo po ba na, I'm really in the zone right now? If you can share po sa chat, like, ano yung mga activities or tasks nyo? Not necessarily work-related, pero yung pag ginagawa niyo siya, parang in the zone ka talaga. Yung challenge and skill are balanced, diba? Yung sa akin po before, yung in the zone moments ko was, medyo kakaya, was pag kailangan ko mag-ayos ng data sa Excel spreadsheet. Nakakahiya nga, kung sinabi kong out loud. Na maiiwanan niyo po ako doon at na naka-music lang. Tapos, pagkatapos, di ba, ganda-ganda ng Excel ko, may onting pagod ng katawan, siguro. Pero yung mismong spirit ko, yung diwa ko, parang wow, ang galing, ang ganda, mas na-energize. Ano po yung mga na-share natin? Oo, John, economics graduate ako. Oh, somebody said designing, making creative things. Oh, when I'm working with coworkers, pwede din po yun. And then having fun doing them. Haha, may nagsabing Excel spreadsheet din. Hosting events and coding. Yes. Another one po for me was pag nag-one-on-one po ako with my teammates before when I was managing a big team po. Isang oras, 2 oras, 3 oras yung lilipas, tapos na may kinakausap lang ako, mag-rant lang siya, iiyak na siya, kung ano nung emotions na po yung pinagdaanan namin. Tapos after nun po, again, baka may pagod ng katawan. Pero muli, yung talagang, yung pinakadiwa ko po, sobrang energized. Sobrang and that's my flow. Okay, planning work schedules, masaya actually. Oh, si John, when he facilitates workshops. Okay. So yun po ang mga different, natin, si Magic, mga green flags, si Magic, si Perma, tsaka si Flow. So, quick review lang po siya ngayon. If you want to have a deeper dive po, suggest po punta po kayo sa, I think, YouTube channel po ng Positive Workplaces. So yun, pasensya sa plug. So, sige, balik tayo. Baka ngayon po iniisip nyo, okay, so ito yung mga red flags, tapos ito yung mga green flags na baka makita ko sa work. Tapos baka sa mind nyo po nag-build na kayo ng scale o kaya ng checklist. Parang, okay, check on X, ganyan. Hindi po siya necessarily scale or checklist. Kasi po, may paraan na hindi ka mawawalan ng pag-asa. May paraan po tayo na hindi tayo mawawalan ng pag-asa. And that is because we can build hope po. You can build hope. You can build on hope that you have. You can build on hope that you don't have. And how we'll do that is through first understanding what is hope theory, Miss Snyder. Okay? So hope. Hope as the concept po muna tayo. Hope is yung strong belief that a future we desire is attainable. Tagalog natin para mas ito po yung matinding, sobrang tinding paniniwala na makakamit natin ang ating mga plano, pangarap, hangad. Ganun po siya ka-strong. So that is hope po. Alright? That is the concept of hope. And meron po tayong theory by Snyder explaining what are the different components of hope. How do you build hope? How do you attain hope? And ito po siya. Okay. So sa hope theory po ni Snyder, hope, ito po yung result ng pag-activate ng ating willpower at ng ating way power para makamit ang ating desired goals. So one more time po, ito po ang result ng pag-activate natin ng agency natin or yung how much we believe in ourself, it's also self-efficacy in a way. And then yung mga pathways po natin. So how much we activate our creativity in planning, our ability to think of routes towards our desired goal. So that is hope theory po. Okay. Ito pala siya. So we start po with our desired goals. Everyone has a goal, and every goal is valid. So small goal, big goal, it is what you want to work towards po. And the best way or the best shot that we have in building more hope is to make sure that we clearly conceptualize. Nakikita po talaga natin kung ano tong hope, ay ano tong goal na to. Okay? Next po is our agency or willpower. Ito yung will natin to shape our future. Will in itself is ito yung belief natin. So ito yung belief natin na kaya natin i-shape yung future natin. May kinalaman ako sa kinabukasan ko at kaya ko to mabago. Kaya ko to ma-shape. And then finally, yung way power natin. How creative are we? Can we generate different ways? Sabi nga ng professor ko po dati, maraming paraan makapunta ng Cubao. Kaya po ba nating ilista lahat ng way na yun? Kaya po ba nating to think of plans A through Z? So that we can go from feeling hopeless, from feeling na wala tayong pag-asa, to feeling hopeful, na baka naman mayroong pag-asa. Okay? But how do we now do that? How do we build the hope? Kung everything na around us is negative, perhaps. So there's toxicity in the air. And worse, what if what's inside of us is also negative? So we're burnt out. There's also negativity inside of us. Parang medyo mahirap po, diba? Okay. We just go back po to hope theory. Okay? And we try to address this one by one. And let's start po with the desired goals. So like I said po kanina, diba? Yung sa desired goal po natin, kailangan the more clear it is in our minds, the better chance we have. Parang mas ma-anchor po tayo. So I'd like to take a few minutes po to walk us through a visualization exercise. Okay? And what we're going to try and visualize is a really, really good day at work. So if I can invite you po to sit in a comfortable position, relax po. You can turn off your camera po if it's a little bit uncomfortable. Because the next thing I'll ask for is close your eyes. Close your eyes po. Okay? So we're all relaxed, feeling hopefully positive, feeling good, or at the very least neutral. Letting go of any stress, letting go of anything else that we think we need to think about. So from our seated position po, I'd like you to start imagining that you are entering your workplace. Pero wala pang ibang tao. So everything is quiet. Nobody else po is there. Mag-isa lang kayo. You have full power po in this exercise. In your workplace, start imagining anong iibahin ko. If I had all the power, or since I have all the power right now, anong gusto kong magbago? Magdadagdag ba ako ng window? Baka ng aircon? Papalitan ko ba yung kulay ng wall? Gawin niyo po lahat yon. Build niyo po in your mind, nakatayo po kayo doon, yung perfect workplace ninyo po. And when you're done, walk towards your workstation po, your desk. Perfect workstation or desk for you. Have a seat and start working. Kunyari. What are you doing? What does your desk look like? And habang nagtatrabaho po kayo, unti-unti po, papasok yung mga office mates ninyo. Nagtatrabaho na din sila. Baka may mga nag-hi po sa inyo. Okay? Pasok sila. Tapos po, hindi mo akalain, middle of the workday na. Buong team na po kayo nasa office. Yung napakagandang office po na na-build ninyo. And then, may office mate po kayo na lalapit sa table niyo or lalapit po sa inyo. Ano po yung gusto nyong masabi sa inyo ng office mate niyo? Ano po yung klaseng conversation ang gusto niyo po with that office mate? Have it po. And when you're done, tinawag po kayo ng boss ninyo, ng manager ninyo, ng leader ninyo. Papasok naman po kayo sa office or malalapit kayo sa desk ng leader ninyo. Ano po yung gusto ninyong masabi sa inyo ng leader ninyo? At ano po yung gusto ninyo masabi sa leader ninyo? Muli po, kayo po may control. Imagine niyo po yung best na scenario, yung harmonious na scenario, yung positive na scenario. At pagkatapos po ng conversation nyo, ng leader nyo, punta naman po kayo sa meeting room. Magkaka-meeting po kayo as a team. Magkaka-meeting po kayo sa team kasi kailangan na po kayong matapos by end of day. How does the meeting go? Ano po yung vibe ng meeting? Ano po yung flow ng meeting? Sa inyong perfect, positive workplace. And you can now open your eyes po. At tapos na ang ating perfect workday. So, kamusta po yun? Kamusta po yung inimagine natin perfect workday, perfect workplace natin? Nanibago po ba kayo? Or parang hindi, normal lang po, Monica. Ganito kami araw-araw. How was it po? You can share po in the chat. So hopefully, diba, it felt really good and inspiring, refreshing, calming, and exciting. So ang hope ko po talaga is for some of us, baka medyo familiar siya. But it's okay. Kasi this is what we're trying to build towards po today. What we're trying to build towards po together is our dream work culture. So kung tinatakwil natin, sinasabi natin, ayaw ko ng toxic work culture. Ang tanong naman po ngayon is, so ano ngayon ang dream work culture? Ano yung desired natin na work culture? So if you can go po on Mentimeter, and type in po in 1, 2 words, what is now your dream work culture? Ngayon na parang na-taste nyo na siya. Na-taste na po natin what that could feel like. Ano po yung mga tulad dito? Fulfilling, without, this is a chat without bully boss, engaging, walang silipan ng trabaho, supportive, clear expectations and directions. Opo, di mo akalain na may ibang, na may workplaces po talaga na hindi ganun kaklaro kung ano ba yung expected sa'yo. And ang hirap nun, ang hirap po talaga nun. Collaborative, appreciative, yes. Diba? Na-recognize po ba ang inyong accomplishment? Positive ambience, full of passion and no barriers. So you can go after what you want. Nagkakaintindihan, I'm looking at the chat now. Unbiased, transparent, equal responsibility, yes. Peaceful and productive, work-life balance. We all seek for work-life balance. Teamwork allows you to grow. Sobrang dami po. So mukhang inclusive, utopian workplace. So utopia po, paraiso po talaga. Equality. Wow. So a lot of really good ideas, a lot of really good goals. Diba? So kung ito po yung goal natin, so different, marites, encouraging. So kung ito po yung mga different goals natin for a dream culture, so ito po yung desired goal natin. This is what we want to work towards. Paano naman na si willpower at si waypower? How do we now build up the other two dimensions or the other two components of hope theory para makumpleto natin yung ating pag-build up ng pag-asa? One technique that we would like to share is divergent and convergent thinking. So, sige, let's follow the diagram. Kung sa one side po may problema tayo, and that is toxic work culture. Na kanina po, describe natin in many different ways, diba? Na yung, or rather, na a negative work culture, like yung daming deadlines, paiba-iba yung direction, may bullying minsan. So yun yung problema, toxic, lahat tayo burnt out, nagkakahawaan na tayo. Yung first do po, divergent thinking. Kaya siya individually, pero baka meron din po kayong allies or nakikiramay din na pwede nyo rin ihatak. Kasi more heads, diba? More heads are better than one. I think somebody put nga in the chat na a support system will help. In that divergent thinking session po, the name of the game is quantity. So, salpak lang kayo ng salpak ng ideas na, sige, how do we address the toxicity in the workplace? How do we address, pwede very specific po, how do we address bullying? Kunyari, how do we address bullying in the workplace? Ano yung mga ano natin? Dito, workshops, isang tao lang ako, di ba? So, isang brain cell lang. So, sige po, how do we address bullying in a workplace? Patulong naman po, more heads, sa chat. Workshops, I forgot the term, pero yung, policy making, making campaigns, awareness, team building. Yan po, we are already exercising divergent thinking. Mas masaya po siya and mas siguro, it's a little less threatening if you utilize po a tool para kunyari anonymous ng suggestions natin. Healthy intervention, seminar, training. Be generous in using kind words. Yes. Sometimes po the best answer to negativity is just positivity. Pep talk, training, exactly. So quantity over quality, damihan lang, counseling, etc. So novel ideas. We're trying to create choices. We're trying to build up our choices, such that when we're done na, uy, that's good. Forums. That's not bad, especially if it's anonymous. Okay. We move into convergence. Kunyari, natapos yun na po yung inyong pag-anonymous na labas ng ideas. Pasok naman na po tayo sa convergent thinking. This is when, as a group ulit, or if you're doing it by yourself, babalik yun na ulit yung medyo judgmental side niyo. Isa-isahin niyo siya. Yes. Let's look at it. Let's look at these ideas one by one. And we evaluate them based on two criteria: the impact and the feasibility. So, by impact, we mean, gano'n ba ka-epektibo to to attain our goal? Diba? If we're trying to weed out bullying sa workplace, gano'n ba ka-effective ang, kunyari, we'll hold seminars na anti-bullying? Does it address the problem directly, indirectly, or ano pa ba yung coaching or counseling? Will it also help address the problem directly, indirectly? And then the next way po that we will evaluate it is feasibility. How doable is it? Diba? Madali lang po ba na mag-set up tayo ng ating seminar for anti-bullying, mag-set up tayo ng counseling for anti-bullying? May maganda pong example in the chat na sharing experiences of bullying and its effect to the person. This is a very good impact-wise, diba? Because it shows, it humanizes po the situation na tao yung sangkot dito sa mga bullying na to. And ang laki ng impact sa tao. And then as we've learned nga ngayon, magkakahawaan yan na the bully will, baka kung ano po yung pinagdadaanan niya at nagla-lash out lang po pala siya, mahawaan niya yung iba. And then yung mga person din na affect negatively, diba? Yung baka maging distance sila, etc. Ma-affect din yung iba. So okay siya for impact. Pero if we look at it naman po in terms of feasibility, maybe the questions that we would encounter is, would there be people comfortable with sharing? Maybe others, will it be safe? Diba? Would it be safe for somebody to share that experience? So yun po so these are the two criteria that we evaluate all of the ideas that we came up with. All right? So that we can put it in a prioritization matrix. Diba? Kasi what we're trying to get at is from having a vague idea, so mula drawing, papuntang plano, na masasabi na natin, okay, ito yung mga exact steps, ito yung mga exact things that I can do in order to address my problem. So, kung high impact siya, you can do it next or do it now. Tapos depende ka na sa feasibility. So kung high impact pero medyo low feasibility, maybe do next. Pag high impact, high feasibility, obviously, pwede mo na siyang gawin right now. And then, pag high yung feasibility niya, pero hindi naman ganun kalaki yung impact, baka do later. let's take po ulit yung example natin na na sa bullying, 'di ba? Ano po kaya yung high impact and highly feasible? So tapos iba-iba po to sa kada workplace kasi there are some workplaces na baka mas feasible yung one thing for them. For another workplace baka naman hindi. Somebody said conducted a symposium or forums about bullying. So something like that. So yeah, symposium or forum or really awareness building. Where would you put that po in your sa workplace ninyo? Based po sa understanding ninyo. Saan siya magpo-fall? Kaya na po ba siya do now? You can answer po in the chat. Kaya na po ba siya do now? Yung example po na binigay ni Miss Mary Ann, yung mag-conduct ng symposium or forum. Baka do next, baka may mas madaling ideas. Hindi naman, baka may mas feasible na nauna, mas kaya pa. So I see somebody said do next or do later na alam mo hindi siya mag-i-impact sa ano natin, sa workplace natin as well as maybe other people's workplaces. But it's still a good idea. Okay. Sige. And then, hindi naman sa ignore ko, pero baka lang dun sa list po ng ating mga ideas. Meron kayong isa doon na parang hindi din ganun kalaki yung impact, hindi din naman siya ganun ka-feasible, then maybe it falls under do never. Okay. May iba dito, kaya siya do next, possibly, and then do later. So ano po yung mga do now? Ano yung mga do now natin na against workplace bullying? If we look back up, I think being generous po in using kind words is definitely a do now because that is within our own power and malaki po talaga yung impact niya. Ano pa? Ano yung mga self-control, that is also a do now. So some of the do nows, kung napapansin nyo, yung nature nila is something that you yourself can trigger, something you yourself can participate in. Teamwork, technically, medyo do now din siya kasi you are part of the team. So yun. So, i-practice lang po natin, ihasa natin yung sarili natin to think in these ways. So that, at the end of it, alam ko na yung mga pwede kong gawin. There's a clear picture in front of you na, ito yung mga ways. Ito yung mga pathways for me to get to my desired goal. Sorry, natawa ako sa sarili kong joke. And then finally po, we have C, agency or si willpower. So paano natin i-top up yung ating self-belief, yung ating self-efficacy, yung belief natin sa sarili natin, hindi, kaya ko to. Balik po tayo sa flow. Diba? In what instances po ba na kailangan natin sabihin, hindi, kaya ko to. Pag may challenge po tayo. Diba? And technically, everything naman that we, it's a challenge for us. Everything, all the tasks, every activities that we do, big or small, it's a form of a challenge. It's something that we are overcoming. It's something that we are going through, that we have to go through. Diba? Now, para ma-face natin yung challenge very well, alam na natin at this point na may equivalent skill siya. Right? So, for me to have that feeling of kaya ko to, dapat di ako nagpapanik. Pero hindi din siya maganda na nasa comfort zone lang ako. Dapat nasa growth po tayo. So it's really about upskilling. Okay? Kasi kung nasa comfort zone po tayo, baka naman hindi natin pine-face talaga yung dapat nating ma-face. Or hindi natin kino-confront or hindi natin ina-address yung dapat nating i-address. Pero pag nasa growth zone po tayo, that's talaga the sweet spot po. Okay? And it's really about upskilling. Going to webinars like this, for example, ang dami na pong resources natin sa internet kunyari, sorry, balik ako ng balik. This example po natin about bullying, ang dami na pong resources about how to address workplace bullying, how to start po muna, how do you spot workplace bullying, how to address it, how other companies po are addressing it and doing it, and even other people. So if you join forums or webinars like this, you can get access po to the ideas of others. Like, tignan lang po yung chat box natin, ang dami na nating ideas about how we can help address workplace bullying. So it's about upskilling po talaga siya. Okay? So, there po, we've learned po na kahit mag-wane yung pag-asa, kahit akala natin pawala na siya or wala na siya at all, may kakayahan po tayo to build or to build more hope. Kaya pa natin gumawa ng pag-asa. Now, I think yung isa po sa mga tanong na baka naglilinger pa po sa minds natin is, sige Monica, alam ko na kaya ko pang mag-build ng pag-asa, kahit na feeling ko wala ng pag-asa sa workplace ko. Pero paano ko po malalaman kung talagang wala ng pag-asa? Kasi yung wala na talaga at baka kailangan ko na umalis. Or like, parang may yung ganong feelings po natin. Ang masasabi ko na lang po is, if you will stay, you have to stay po with hope. Meaning, you find that you can build hope where you are. Because ultimately, you will only stay for well-being niyo po. So where there is hope, there is the possibility for well-being. Pero kung wala po talaga, as in, desired goals pa lang po, wala na akong makita kundi yung nasa harap ko. Or, way power, hindi ko po alam kung ano nang magagawa ko. And willpower, hindi ko talaga kaya. Like, hindi na po siya within my powers at hindi po talaga siya sa powers ko. Then po, you make the decision to leave for well-being. And then go towards hope. There's a really, really beautiful concept ni Kim Cameron. Shout out to kay John kasi siya nag-introduce sa akin to Positive Leadership by Kim Cameron. And ang ganda ng idea niya na kung ang halaman po, mga plantitas, shout out to the plantitas and plantitos, kung ang halaman, tutubo po yan papunta sa araw. Tayo din po. Ganun din po tayo. Heliotropic po yung term. Tayo din po. We go towards light. We grow po towards hope. And that's what we ultimately want. Okay? That's what we ultimately want. That we are always going towards hope. And with that po, thank you so much. So we learned why is it important to be attentive to well-being at work, kung ano po ang hope theory, and how to build it po among. Okay. Don't forget po that everyone has a breaking point, and it's okay po. Iba-iba po yung mukha nitong breaking point na to. Iba-iba po yung nagpaparating sa atin sa breaking point natin. And dapat po irespeto natin yung sa isa't isa, lalo na po sa sarili natin. Na yung pag-asa po, mabibuild po natin. Basta klaro po sa atin kung ano yung desired goals natin. May willpower po tayo, may belief po tayo sa sarili natin. At kaya po natin mag-think up ng mga plano. Mga many ways to get to Cubao. Okay? And then, kasi kaya po ninyo mag-build ng hope. And always po talaga, grow towards hope. Kung dito man po ba yan sa current workplace ninyo, baka naman sa ibang workplace, or baka din po outside of work. Minsan po, mahanap nyo din ang green flags ninyo outside of work. And really po, possibility tsaka choice din yan. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much, Monica. I'm sure our audience learned. Ako personally, I learned a lot, even if I've heard you deliver this and I've heard the hope theory. It's always refreshing to see how parang hope theory, how it can be used in different aspects of our lives. So now I'm sure na dahil marami silang natutunan, marami rin silang gustong itanong sa atin. So, our intern Joyce will share you our Pigeonhole link so that you can also ask your questions there. Okay. You can see my screen naman. Is it on Pigeonhole?
Yes, I see the QR, Gabby.
Yeah. Okay. Ayan. So, sa chat box ba, merong... Okay. Curious ako. Ako muna may magtatanong habang nag-aantay tayo. Curious ako. Do you also have stories on how you grew with hope? And were there instances na you grew with hope? You grew towards hope.
Is that a question for Monica?
Yeah.
Monica, question for you then.
Sorry, I don't know what's happening to my Zoom. What was the question?
While waiting for our participants lang, do you have an experience where parang yun yung tumatak sa'yo na you grew towards hope?
Oh, okay. Sana wala dito sa wala dito sa chat. I had a good career already where I was previously and for all intents and purposes po talaga maganda siya. I still had desired goals there. I knew my way powers. I knew kaya ko silang ano. But when Bihasa came along and I learned more about it, nag-shift po yung desired goal. And parang yun yung mas naging klaro. Parang, di ba sabi ko na if you have your desired goal will be very, very clear to you. It'll be parang nasa harap mo lang siya. And me moving jobs, me switching jobs in the middle of a pandemic for that matter. I understand it as a privilege, of course. For me, moving towards Bihasa, I think was one of those moments of I felt like I was growing towards hope. Kasi hindi lang siya, I was moving from darkness to light. It felt I was moving from light to lighter light, if that makes any sense. And that's napaka-profound po na yun. Na parang, there's something better pa pala. So, that's one po. Talagang, the desired goal became very different right in front of my eyes. So, yun.
Thank you so much for sharing that, Monica. And I think ang most voted question natin is very related to moving from that darkness to light. Ito 13 votes. How will you know the right time to quit?
How will you know the right time to quit? Okay. Let me answer this one in this way. Very practical person po kasi ako. First is we acknowledge po yung needs natin at yung needs po natin na of course baka may needs po tayo, may financial needs po tayo na kailangan mo met. We need to acknowledge that first po. Pero given that, dun po sa example ko, it's when either the desired goal where you are is no longer clear, or the desired goal somewhere else just super, parang yung feeling mo talaga nagsusuperimpose siya na parang, oh, wala na, wipe out ka, ito na siya. It's also when, and we're circling back lang po talaga dun sa hope theory ni Snyder. It's also when wala ka nang maisip na way power because perhaps there's just so many obstacles. So, hindi naman po sa dahil lang may tool na po tayo to build hope. Hindi po ibig sabihin nun na in all situations, kaya po talaga kaya po talaga natin mag-build pa ng hope. Kasi there are going to be obstacles in our way. So sobrang dami na po yung obstacles, tapos sobrang dami na din yung stressors, na even dun po sa willpower side, parang marami ka ng self-doubt, hindi mo na mahabol yung pag-build mo ng hope, hindi na po mahabol yung lahat na are just piling on top of you. Then I believe po it's already the right time to quit. Acknowledging lang the practicality, na hopefully may malalandingan po kayo na is more conducive to hope. Yun. I hope that answered the question.
I think that's very insightful and very practical also, Monica, kasi hindi natin pwedeng i-impose dun sa iba rin yung ating belief na, sige, just because you feel like it's a bad thing already, quit ka na. Paano if you have responsibilities for your family? Pag nag-quit ka, pwedeng wala kang maipakain dun sa family mo or wala kang ma-provide dun sa mga mahal mo sa buhay. So, lalo kang masa-stress. Lalo kang magkakaroon ng additional na source for anxiety. Maybe another thing to ask is, why do you think of quitting? Diba? Start writing your answers. Bakit mo gustong mag-quit? Dahil ba hindi ka natutuwa sa boss mo? Dahil ba naliliitan ka sa sweldo mo? Dahil ba sa tingin mo hindi ka na nag-grow dun sa company? Ano pa? Dahil ba sa tingin mo hindi ka na gusto ng mga taong katrabaho mo? Hindi mo na gusto yung ginagawa mo? Ano yung rason kung bakit gusto mong mag-quit? Kasi pag nalaman mo yung main cause, it's easier also for you to apply yung sinasabi ni Monica na hope theory. Pathways issues ba siya? Wala ka bang paraan para ma-address yung mga reason kung bakit gusto mo mag-quit? O kaya baka naman issue siya na willpower, na meron ka bang enough na kakayahan or kagustuhan para magawa yung mga strategies mo in order for you to stop yourself from quitting. Diba? So, bakit kaya? Bakit mo gusto mag-quit? Ang sagot namin parati dyan is well-being. Saan ka tinuturo ng well-being mo? For example, I'll give you for instance, like an actual experience. When I was in SGS, I resigned twice. I think 3 times. I resigned 3 times. Tapos twice, my HR director stopped me from resigning. Tapos they offered me more money. And then, dahil wala akong pera nun. So syempre, inuuhan ko na lang. Pero, the reality is, I didn't ask myself why I wanted to quit. Siguro yun yung isang mali ko. Hindi ko tinanong yung sarili ko why I wanted to quit. So I started to endure a job that I was not energized by. Pero the money was okay. But if you start to realize why exactly you want to quit, you will know if the reason for quitting is also enough reason for you to stay for a different reason. Ano ibig sabihin nun? Kunyari yung pera, maganda dun sa company na yon. Tapos hindi mo nakikita yung meaning mo dun sa kumpanya. Pag umalis ka ba dun sa kumpanya na yon, makukuha mo ba yung pera na hinahanap mo? Kasi kailangan mo rin ng pera. Kung hindi mo kailangan ng pera, makukuha mo ba yung meaning na hinahanap mo sa other organizations? Kasi if yes, then okay lang. Good consideration is to look for other options. Pero if kailangan mo ng pera, tapos binibigay sa'yo ng company mo yung pera na yon at stable yon, you can always try to look for other sources of meaning outside of work. Diba? Yung iba nakikita yun sa simbahan, yung iba nakikita yun sa volunteer activities, yung iba nakikita yun sa mga kaibigan nila, yung iba nakikita yun sa pamilya nila. So you try to assess what is your reason why you want to quit, and then try to evaluate if that reason is worth quitting for. In relation to your well-being. Again, in relation to your well-being. What do you think, Monica? Do you agree?
Yeah. Yes, I totally agree. So siguro applying what John said to my situation. When I left my previous company, hindi pa ako ganun ni John na lalabas ka ganun. When I left my previous my previous company. There are a lot of things about it that I love din naman. Sabi nga ni John, yung meaning, yung money, di ba? So when I left, I had to ask myself that same question, why? Tapos makukuha ko din ba yung, baka naman kasi lilive ako for a better goal, pero hindi ko naman makukuha yung gusto ko din from previous company. Thankfully naman, nag-stars align, and that's why I could make the decision to move works in the middle of a pandemic at that. So yeah. Thanks, John.
Yan, I'm sure our participants really appreciate your answers. Pero feeling ko, there are also participants who might be on the other side of the coin. May mga managers naman din siguro na nagtatanong na, bakit kaya alis yung mga tao ko? Kahit tinatry ko naman na mag-build ng belonging, ng meaning within the company. So, ano naman yung pwede nyong sabihin or like, what steps can they take na para sila naman yung makapag-alaga din sa mga tao nila so that they would also stay in the company?
Okay, sige. I'll try to take a stab at it, and then John, pasalo na lang. First and foremost, I empathize because I was a manager in one of the, like, alam niyo naman po, ang taas ng turnover pagdating sa BPO. And really, my advice would be to first understand where the people are coming from and why the people are going. To have those conversations and to take the time, because it will take time po, to talk to them, to understand what is their motivation, what is their motivation, what are the desired goals. Actually, going back, ano po ba yung goal nila in life? Na baka naman kaya sila umaalis is because hindi nila ma-see for themselves na, yung goal ko pala will align pa rin naman or may way pa rin naman to do it while I'm staying in this, baka nga matutulungan niyo po sila into with their goal, di ba? And in that sense po, you're helping them build more ways, build more pathways. Kung yun yung ano nila, kung yun yung reason kung bakit sila umaalis, ask the question, like John said, ask the question why. Don't be afraid po to ask the question why your teammates are thinking about leaving or are actually leaving. Kailangan nyo lang ipakalma sila ng konti, pero and then listen very carefully what they're telling you. Parang sometimes baka hindi nila outright masabi. Listen and ask the probing questions of why. Okay? And then obviously, do that for everyone na yun po sa team nyo. Wag lang yung mga feeling nyo, ayan, risk na siya, paalis na siya. And you will see na parang baka a lot of it is yun nga, baka way power issue lang. Hindi nila alam na, ito pala yung different pathways. Hindi nila makita. Or, pwede din, it's a will, it's an agency na they're doubting that they can pursue what they want. They can pursue their dreams. They can get it in their present workplace with your team. And perhaps it's just a confidence boost that they need. May mga tao po talaga na ganon. Admittedly, isa ako doon na minsan, I would like to hear it from somewhere else. Kasi alam ko, baka biased ako sa sarili ko. Or, knowing na, okay, ito pala yung gaps na nafe-feel nila in terms of sa kakayahan nila, may awareness ka na ngayon na, okay, ito yung learning and development na gusto nilang makuha. Ito yung skills na gusto nilang matutunan. So, again, start with asking why. Talking to the people and helping them in the journey to discern.
I agree with Monica. Gather data. Kasi kung isa-isa lang yan, dalawang tao yung umalis, pwedeng individual reasons nila magkaiba lang, tapos, alam niyo, parang pwedeng you have control over it and you don't have control over it, and that's fine. Pero pag madami, like for example, inalisan ka na ng mga 5 or 6 na tao, mga ganyan, or 8 or mas marami pa, tingnan nyo, mag-collect ka ng data, like look at exit interview data, o kaya tingnan nyo yung, tanungin nyo, magpatanong kayo dun sa mga tao na umaalis, kung bakit sila umaalis. Kasi baka ikaw nga yung reason, that's a possibility. I mean, we're not gonna deny that, di ba? Pero sabi nga nila, di ba, like one of the reasons why a lot of people leave organizations is because of their bosses, di ba? Parang they say people leave bad bosses, not bad organizations. So that is a possibility. It's not the only possibility. Pero another possibility is the company itself. Pangit yung system, pangit yung pamamahala, ganyan, pangit yung management, overall, kahit na gusto ka nila. But you will only be able to pinpoint that if you have enough information with you. Huwag niyong hulaan. Kasi pag hinulaan mo, baka mamaya gumawa ka ng solusyon, tapos hindi naman pala relevant yung solution na yon dun sa information na dapat na-gather mo sana. Sayang yung energy. Diba? Kunyari, sinubukan mo mag-personality development kasi ang daming umaalis. Ang ganda na pala ng personality mo, kaya pala sila umaalis kasi mababa magpasahod yung kumpanya. O anong gagawin ng ganda ng personality mo, di ba? Hanggang ganda ka na lang. So you try to gather data first. Now, let's assume, dun ka sa within your control, based on gather ng data, umaalis nga sila dahil masama yung ugali mo. That's a very good opportunity for you to fix yourself o kaya to improve, to become a better person. Sino ba naman yung gusto na maging pangit na manager, di ba? Yung pagkukwentuhan ka at pagmamarites ka ng mga staff mo, hindi ka makasama sa mga party kasi alam mo ikaw yung pulutan or ikaw yung usapan, ganyan. So you try to gather data and of course you will take offense if you are the reason why they left. But that is the reality. You have to take that in if that is really the truth. And instead of blaming everyone else, blaming them, blaming the system, look for a way on how you can grow. Kasi may data ka na eh. Diba? Kaya sila umalis kasi hindi ako magaling mag-provide ng feedback. Kaya sila umalis kasi hindi ko ina-acknowledge na maganda yung trabaho nila. Kaya sila umalis kasi hindi ako magaling magplano as a manager. Kaya sila umalis kasi hindi ako marunong mag-delegate kasi masyado ako micromanager. Tingnan mo na kung ano yung pwede mong i-improve na skill para next time, hindi ka naalisan. Diba? Kasi maganda rin yun. Ikakalago ng buhay mo yun, ikakasaya ng pamilya mo kasi pwedeng yung management style mo, madala mo sa family at magustuhan din nila kung paano mo sila pinapamahalaan. So take that as your opportunity to grow if ever that is really the case. Okay.
Yes, okay. Let's go to our next highest voted question. What do you do when you realize ikaw na ang nagiging red flag sa workplace?
Ay, sinasabi ko, that's very related to
Exactly.
Go, Monica, sige. Like, anong gagawin mo kung ikaw yung nagiging red flag? I mean, my answer was still, pero ikaw, what do you do?
Exactly. So John's answer is actually very much applicable here. Na alam mo na, ikaw na nga yung red flag sa workplace. So what do you need to do? So like John said, take steps na for your own growth and development to better yourself. Sharing ko lang, nangyari to po sa akin. Bilang isang manager, nakapaiyak po ako ng tao sa year-end performance review niya. Tapos nagtaka po ako kasi parang, wait lang, yung scores po niya tataas. Tapos doon ko po pala nalaman na nag-help po pala ako mag-propagate ng isang culture where numbers is everything. Diba? And hindi po masaya minsan yung ganong culture na numbers is everything. Paano na yung mga feelings, yung mga intangibles, ganyan. Doon ko po na-realize na red flag na din ako sa workplace natin. And with that, knowing that now, I learned how to adjust myself to grow and develop as a different type of leader. And doon din po ako actually na-introduce sa positive leadership, sa positive management na hindi ko pala kailangan maging super hyper numbers, Monica. Kasi people not only like you, but they perform better under positive management and positive leadership. So yun po, take the time to grow and develop into a better version of yourself. And ultimately, take the time to take care of yourself. Diba? Kung red flag kayo kasi kayo yung nega sa office. Kasi burnt out na kayo, wala na kayong positivity sa katawan ninyo, so nega na lang kayo. Maka po, that means na you need to take care of yourself. To take a step back and take care of yourself muna. And it never hurts to ask for help. to ask for help from your coworkers, from your friends. Kung medyo utang-utang na nga sa'yo yung coworkers mo, baka sa friends mo, or sa family, or if may options, counselor, coaching, etc.
Yeah, i-emphasize ko po yung positive management na sinasabi ni Monica ha. Alam niyo po, ito yung isa sa pinaka gusto kong narinig na statement sa one of my friends, si Coach Lippy. Sabi niya, wala namang tao na gumigising sa umaga, tas ang unang maiisip is maghasik ng lagim. 'Di ba? I mean, wala namang ganong klaseng tao talaga because I always believe that people are inherently good. Alam mo yun na eventually gigising ka, gusto mo makagawa ng mabuti. Kaya nga tayo kaya nga gusto natin yung meaning, tsaka yung accomplishment sa PERMA, tsaka sa Magic. It's because gusto nating makatulong sa positive change. So naniniwala po ako na wala pong tao na gigising sa umaga para mag-isip na maghasik ng lagim. Pero minsan yung sinasabi ni Monica na yung toxic culture, kaya po nabubuo yun dahil sa sobrang taas ng expectation sa atin, tapos wala tayong corresponding na skills. For example, management skills to become a manager or to become a leader. Dahil mataas yung expectation at mababa yung skill natin, tumataas po yung stressors natin lalo. At pag tumataas po yung stressors natin at marami po tayong isinasakripisyo na bagay dahil po dun sa mga stressors na yun po yung nagtatranslate into burnout. And yung burnout po, yun yung naglalabas ng mga hindi natin gusto about ourselves. Nagiging mas irritable tayo, nagiging mas chismoso tayo, umiiwas tayo sa mga tao, ayaw natin silang mapakitunguhan kasi baka isipin nila na mga may kailangan lang tayo sa kanila, ganyan hanggang sa naparanoid ka na. So pag hindi mataas yung capability mo to manage, tataas lalo yung stress. Pag tumaas yung stress, mas magiging version ka ng tao na hindi mo gusto. So try to look at how you can build your skills to become a better manager so that you will also become a better person and leader. Yun po, wala pong shortcut. Wala pong shortcut kasi kahit sabihin niyo po na hindi, okay lang, sanay naman ako, natututo naman ako everyday pero alis na alis yung mga tao dahil sa'yo, di ibig sabihin kulang talaga yung skills mo to manage. So try to look always for a way to improve your management skills. Okay, especially if you are in that position, if you're a supervisor or a manager in your organization.
Yes, tama. And I think itong next question is very related to what you just said, John and Monica, no? Na in-emphasize natin na way power is one of the things na we should try to do in the workplace. Kaso, ang isang way power natin ay ang pag-set ng boundaries or pag-say ng no. So, someone is asking, how do we say no to colleagues? Or how do we set boundaries from colleagues? Ayan.
O go, Monica, ikaw. Magaling ka mag-say no yata to colleagues.
My strength achiever would say otherwise. How to say no? Sorry, Gabby, I'm seeing the previous question kasi I just wanted.
Sorry, it's actually in the chat box.
Okay.
How to say no. Tapos in any form of uncomfortable and yung not really work-related favor. Parang how do we say no?
Hirap nito ha. Because siguro to acknowledge first, mahirap to say no. Kasi parang natural sa atin that ika nga ni John, na we want to spread joy, happiness, positivity. Diba? And minsan talaga hindi lang natin kaya eh. Like, hindi lang pasok sa bandwidth natin, busy tayo, or yun na nga, burnt out na tayo na wala na akong magastos sa sarili ko, sorry, lalo nang wala akong mabibigay sa'yo. Siguro how to say no to colleagues is first to acknowledge to yourself na may limitations ka din. So, one way to set boundaries is to acknowledge na there's a lot of things on my plate, na I also need to take care of myself, na baka din hindi ako makatulong kahit mag-say yes ako sa'yo kasi nga, sinistretch ko na ng sarili ko. So I think that's one, or that's one of the first things you can do is acknowledge your own limitations. Kasi another natural thing naman about us, about people, is we don't technically, we don't try to sacrifice ourselves too much, hopefully. Diba? We head towards our well-being. We decide based on our well-being. So, pag very clear naman na po yun, at hawak-hawak nyo na sa sarili nyo na, ito po, this is where I am right now. So, this can change over time. This is where I am right now. This is my reality. I believe po it would be easier. Now, the reality is may ibang tao, hindi sila makatake ng no well. Hindi sila makatake ng no or ng mamaya lang. Part of the scenario is minsan wala kang talaga magagawa. Nasa how they react is going to be on them. But if ultimately you are honest about it, why you're saying no is also very important. Why you're saying no to this person, letting them understand. Then that softens the blow and that makes the situation better. Kumaga parang that makes the outcome a little bit better at the very least. So yun, that's how I would say no if I said no more often.
Thanks, Monica. And ang daming tips na related to what you were saying, Monica, in the chat box. Knowing your boundaries, you can pour from an empty cup, mga ganyan. Ako, ang challenge ko sa inyo is itanong nyo sa sarili nyo kung ba't hindi kayo makapag-no. Diba? Ano yung reason? Sige nga, iba-iba kayo na reason eh. Iba-iba tayo na reason. Ako kasi, I couldn't say no to people before because I'm an activator. I always like saying yes to opportunities. And some people are, hindi siya makapag-no kasi baka ma-offend. Diba? Ayan o, ito pala. Sabi, ayan, people pleaser, nahihiya. So those are other reasons. Baka maka-offend ka, ganyan, etc. So, value din kasi yon. Value mo rin kasi yon. Ang mga Pilipino kasi by culture, hindi talaga makapag-say no yan dahil collectivist tayo na kultura. Alam mo yon. Kaya nga may mga pumupunta sa mga bahay natin kahit piyesta tapos hindi natin kilala, hindi naman natin sila tinataboy. so o kaya baka tama sabi ni Jessica. Sabihin nila, ang sama naman ng ugali nito, bakit nagno sa akin? Ganyan. Eh si Robin, nagtaas ng kamay. Robin, gusto mo ba mag-share? I-unmute ka namin. Sige.
Hello, sir. Hello, ma'am, sir. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Yes po. Siguro mag-share lang ako ng konti regarding dun sa topic na paano mag-say ng no doon sa mga friends natin or relatives natin na kailangan din yung help natin. For example kasi, kung hindi tayo prepared or hindi tayo ready personally, mas lalo lang natin bibigyan ng burden yung tao na nangihingi ng tulong sa atin, which is ang magandang gawin is pwede natin siya i-refer sa other person na pwedeng mas makatulong sa kanya. So, sorry, medyo ang tawag dito? Medyo ano yung boses ko po, no?
Okay
so, ayun po, yun po. So, alam dapat natin i-practice natin sa sarili natin na on how to set boundaries, no? Para at least yung mental health kasi natin is very important din. Kung paano tayo makakatulong dun sa tao kung tayo mismo hindi okay yung mental health natin, no? So both side magkakaroon lang ng or magki-create lang siya ng more chaos. So yun po.
Thank you so much, Robin. Alam mo, napakaganda nung sinabi ni Robin na nakasagutan, no? Pag alam mo na kung ano yung reason mo, kung bakit hindi ka makapag-say no, it's easier to figure out how to act. For example, karamihan sa nagsabi sa chat box, hindi kayo makapag-say no dahil iisipin ng mga tao na ano ba yan, masama yung ugali, tanggi ng tanggi. 'Di ba? Hindi ka naman tatanggi parati. Tatanggi ka lang pag hindi mo na kaya, pag wala ka nang maibigay. Kasi you have to also ask yourself, meron ka pa bang pwedeng ibigay? Like for example, kami sa positive workplaces, ang daming work kasi ang daming gusto ng well-being trainings, ang daming gusto ng well-being webinars, ganyan. Ang dami talaga. Pero pag hindi na kaya, sasabihin. Kasi pag hindi na kaya, kahit na tumanggi kami ng client, pag binigay namin doon sa client yung half-baked na service, o kaya ibinigay namin na, sige na nga, uuhan ka na namin kasi ayokong hindi sa'yo. Tapos hindi namin mabigay yung expectation nila, mapangit din yung relationship namin. Diba? Plus, pinagod ko pa yung sarili ko. Diba? Naapektuhan pa yung well-being ko. At pwede pa akong dumating doon sa sinasabi ni Monica kanina na sacrifice syndrome. Kasi nga, wala na nga akong maibigay, pero bigay pa rin ako ng bigay, di ba? So learn to understand if masyado ka ng naubos para makapagbigay pa. Kasi kailangan mo mag-replenish. Now, let's go to paano pag inisip nila na masama yung ugali mo? Isipin mo yung reverse. Paano kung bigay ka ng bigay at eventually, because sa tingin nila, bigay ka ng bigay, manghingi na lang sila ng manghingi. Kakayanin mo ba yun? kasi pag yun na yung naging impression mo, taga-bigay ka na lang parati at walang-wala ka na, lalo mong pinapakapal yung impression na hindi, okay lang, hindi yan. Which is not good for you. Not good for us. Not good for anyone. Diba? So learn how to defend yourself. Okay lang na mag-say no once in a while, and pag naka-replenish ka na ulit, di tsaka ka magbigay ulit. Diba? Kasi hindi naman problema yun kung meron ka eh. Right? So okay lang yan. It's very normal. It's very normal for you to feel bad whenever you say no. Okay? Ang isa pa dyan is, kung kaibigan mo talaga yung mga tao or magagandang office mates yan na talaga naiintindihan ka, kahit na hindi ka nila pag-iisipan ng masama. Okay? Pag pinag-isipan ka nila ng masama, edi sila yung masama yung ugali. Hindi ikaw. So, yun. Alright. Sana po nakatulong yun. I'm not making fun of the situation. It is what it is. It is what it is. But I hope it helps you to learn na you cannot pour out of an empty cup. Sabi nga ni Kelly sa chat box. Yes. Salamat din, Robin, for your sharing.
Thank you, Robin.
Ayan, thank you, John and Monica. Time check lang. We're already at 4:35. Would you want to answer more questions while we give the evaluation form so that those who need to leave may leave? Or do we just continue on na? We just entertain one last more.
Well, I'm mindful of Monica's time kasi Monica's only. Pero if you're okay, what we can do is we can share the post-evals for some people who need to leave na para they can answer the post-evaluation. Tapos we can answer some of the other questions siguro until 4:45. Ganyan, Monica, are you okay with that? Para we can debrief pa.
Yeah.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Okay.
Mag-plug naman po tayo. Pwede bang i-plug yung course natin? Uy guys,
ayaw ko pala plug.
Habang nag-fill out naman kayo ng post evaluation form, Gabby, can you show yung course namin ni Monica?
Yes.
Meron po kaming course ni Monica, dalawa po kami dito at talagang this is very related. This is very related to what we were talking about kanina, about skills ng positive management. So meron pong positive management course that we will conduct. Yan. Meron pa pong early bird rate yan ha. Tapos 4,999 lang. Pag part ka ng first 10 enrollees, meron pa pong slots for those. Tapos it's, guys, 4 days. 4 days ito, tapos 9 a.m. to 12 noon lang. March 11, 18, 25, and April 1. Dalawa ka agad yung facilitator nyo na talaga namang may dating. Sana po makapag-register kayo o kaya if you think that meron din pong promo rate yan na enroll 3, get 1 slot for free para mas makalaki kayo ng discount. Pwede nyo pong i-avail yun. At mas marami pa po tayong magiging discussion in relation to that. Baka po, kailangan ng ibang mga tao sa inyong organization, i-share nyo po sa kanila. Makatipid pa po kayo doon sa kurso. Kasi po meron na po kami mga ibang for register. May mga nag-register na yata, I think, na initial. So yun po, thank you so much everyone. Ayan, and share na rin po yung post-evaluation sheet. So nandun po sa chat box yung post-evaluation sheet at saka po yung link para po dun sa registration dito sa course just in case you're interested. O game, we can answer some of the questions pa. Go, Monica.
Yes.
Okay, balik ko lang sa... Wait a minute. Ayan. Okay na?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Which one do you want to answer?
Monica, pili.
Sige lang dyan. I trust your judgment. What look?
Ayun, how will you deal with toxic people in the workplace? Di ba?
Okay.
Yun yung baliktad nung kanina. Yung kanina kasi is ikaw yung toxic. Paano kung ikaw yung toxic? Tapos ito naman is, how do you deal with toxic people in the workplace?
Oh, wow. Okay, that's a really good question. And siguro, jumping off of John's responses kanina, figure out the situation first. Bakit sila toxic? Bakit continuing on toxic sila? Hindi kaya nila namamahal. Baka naman wala pa kasi nagsi-straight talk sa kanila na, uy, toxic ka na. 'Di ba? So oblivious lang sila sa sarili nila.
Or baka judgment mo pa lang yun.
Or baka judgment ko lang, 'di ba?
Pwedeng judgment ko din yun na feeling ko toxic sila. Pwede rin, di ba?
Exactly. So baka kailangan mo din, baka it's good din to, hindi naman to chismis about it, pero to ask the perspective of other people na, hey, is this, tama ba yung, parang, hindi naman sa tama, parang, am I reading this right? Parang, it's how this person affecting me, parang, ganito ba talaga? Or baka din kasi, ikaw, babalik ko lang, baka din kasi ikaw pala yung toxic, tapos, nagbabangga lang kayo. That's also something. So, understand the situation. Try to get an understanding of the situation. Why are these people toxic? Why are you getting affected by what you perceive as toxicity? And then evaluate mo na, sige, what are the next possible steps that I can do? Usually that's either you address it, or frankly you can also avoid it. That's also a choice that some of us have, and some of us, yung baka minsan yung favorite choice natin, i-avoid na lang natin sila. Huwag na lang tayo lumapit sa kanila. Careful nga lang sa avoid, because that may actually keep perpetuating the same toxic environment na because walang kumukontra or walang nagko-call out, tuloy-tuloy lang at magkakahawaan tayo. When you go up to address, pick the right environment, pick the right situation to do so. Kasi if you pick the wrong one, baka maging defensive lang sila. Because, di ba, pag nako-call out tayo sa ano natin na ay, hindi pala natin alam, mali. Minsan defensive kagad yung state natin. And that's normal. And we can't begrudge people na baka ganun din yung reaction nila. So pick the right place. Think about what is it you want to say. Actually, more importantly, think about what is the purpose, what is the result that you're going for. Full-blown character development pa na pagkatapos ko kausapin tong tao na to, ano siya, hindi na siya toxic. As in, siya na yung pinaka-positive person sa workplace namin. Be realistic din naman na baka hindi yun yung mangyari. Pero what is the purpose of you talking to this person? Baka, hindi, gusto ko lang for my own comfort and nothing else. Baka hindi din yun enough. Diba? Baka then, they really need somebody to talk to, or they really need somebody to tell them that, oh, this is what you are doing to me, or this is what you are giving off, this is the effect of that behavior. And siguro, naglagay din kayo ng onting like good things din naman to say. Nobody likes to be said na parang mali ka, like this is everything that you're doing wrong. Hindi na naman. Always open up the possibility na alam ko ganito ka ngayon, pero alam ko din na kaya mo mag-change, na ang galing mo sa ano. So intersperse din some tidbits para may motivation din yung tao na magbago. So that's from me. John, anything to add?
Yeah, ako ibabalik ko yung question sa inyo, no. Mag-imagine kayo ng time kahit na sa school or sa Sa school ba yan or sa work? Mag-imagine kayo ng time where meron kayong toxic na kaklase, teacher, ka-office mate, boss, na eventually naging close nyo. Di ba? At one point or another, meron kayong na-experience na, kunyari ako, dati meron akong boss na sobrang natotoxican ako sa kanya. Tapos, eventually, naging okay kami, naging friend ko pa, naging sobrang close friend ko pa, naging mentor ko pa yung boss, ganyan. So ano yung ginawa mo? Ano yung ginawa mo para gumanda yung relationship nyo? Kasi yung sa akin, ang nag-work noon tama si Monica, no? You ask muna kung bakit sa tingin mo toxic siya. Sa akin nag-work using positive communication. Ang ginawa ko is sobrang toxic kasi ang taas ng expectation ng boss ko noon. Tapos parang it doesn't feel like I am doing enough based on kung ano yung ine-expect niya sa akin kahit na na-achieve ko yung mga goals namin. Kinausap ko siya ng matino, ng maayos. Kasi di ba pag tayo as Pinoy, takot tayong makipag-usap. Di ba takot tayo na baka mamaya lalong sumama yung sitwasyon. Well, galingan mo, pagplanuhan mo yung pakikipag-usap mo, di ba? Think positive communication. Okay? Think positive communication. Whenever, ito yung tinatawag natin sa positive emotions, di ba? Nung nag-aral tayo sa PERMA, broaden and build. Whenever you are using positive emotions, kunyari ako, kunyari si Monica yung toxic, tapos sinabi ko kay Monica na, uy, alam mo, natatakot ako sa iyo dati kasi sobrang taas ng expectation mo sa mga tao. Pero merong akong experience last Saturday na sobrang ganda nung pag-acknowledge mo sa output ko, tapos you did it in front of other people. Alam mo, sobrang hindi ko siya makalimutan, and I was even telling my friends and my family about that experience. Kung ikaw yung toxic person, sa tingin mo ba ang magiging reaction mo is, wala akong pakialam sa storya mo. Siyempre, ang magiging reaction mo is, oh my God, thank you so much naman for sharing that back to me. Eh di meron kayong moment, di ba? Meron kayong moment, one of the possible moments na pwedeng mag-evolve into a stronger relationship eventually between the two of you. So, yun yung nangyari sa akin. Yun yung nangyari sa akin before with my boss na eventually when I communicated na, Ma'am, bakit gano'n? Ba't parang wala akong ginagawang tama? Na-reach ko naman yung mga targets ko. Tapos nag-usap lang kami based on that. And then eventually, she understood na, okay, baka hindi lang kami nag-meet parate doon sa certain level or wavelength. So yun, that's an example of positive communication. Ang counterfactual is, matitiis mo ba na kung hindi mo siya kinausap, i-endure mo everyday yung toxic? Kasi pag wala kang ginawa, araw-araw mong i-endure or papakisamahan yung ganong klaseng toxic behavior na sa tingin mo toxic. So, trade-off lang, di ba? Kakausapin mo ba siya para malaman mo, or you're gonna use positive communication and then see how that works. Or hayaan mo na lang, mag-toxic ka na lang everyday. Pagpasa-Diyos mo na lang. Nasa iyo yun. Wala yun sa kanya. Alright?
Right. Okay, so time check lang. We're already at 4:46. I know that we want to continue the conversation, pero siguro we move on to parang last and final words. Kanina may nakita ko dito na sinabi na in reality daw, well-being is, hindi ko naman sabihin not highly prioritized, pero we are all still trying to learn how to insert well-being practices, especially in the workplace. So, ano ang tips nyo or like your final words so that like well-being will be a reality in our workplaces?
Unahan ko na si Monica dito kasi sobrang passionate talaga ako dito. The reality is, well-being is not highly prioritized in our country. That is true. That's the reason why well-being is declining. Kasi karamihan sa atin, results, output, more than well-being. Kasi yun ang expected sa atin. Katotohanan po yan. Where will it start? It will start from you. If you become intentional about the learnings that you're getting from the sessions that you're having with us, gamitin nyo po. Kasi wala namang ibang magsisimula niyan kundi sa leaders eh. 'Di ba? Kung part kayo ng leadership team, meron kayong na-introduce na ganitong mga konsepto tapos nag-work po siya sa organization nyo, edi nakatulong kayo doon sa reality that well-being is not highly prioritized. So take the opportunity na meron kayong additional na knowledge na pwedeng magagamit kahit na paunti-unti, 'di ba? Sabi ni Gian Nicole Flores, let's enjoy little things in the processes we go through kahit na paunti-unti, 'di ba? An avalanche starts from a small snowball. So yung joke lang, hindi po totoo 'yun. Pero sometimes sometimes an avalanche can start from a very small thing rolling into a big one. Even if it's small at first, magugulat kayo pag nag-benefit yung mga tao dyan, pwede rin po siyang lumaki and baka dahil pa sa inyo, kaya ma-prioritize yung well-being at work. Gamitin nyo po. So yun lang po yung importanteng message for me. Kasi sa amin po, I lived in a very toxic workplace. My company is very good, pero ako po dahil I was a toxic leader before, it became toxic also for my teammates. That's because I was not intentional about taking care of my well-being and the well-being of my team. Try to change that in yours. You still have a lot of time and you can try to make a difference in your organization. What about you, Monica?
Totally agree, John. It really will start with you as an individual. Na sabi nga natin kanina po, 'di ba? Kung ang burnout, lahat ng negativity nakakahawa, mas nakakaano, yung pagpili po natin sa well-being above all else. So, agreed, start with the small things. And kung baka po naiisip niyo na hindi po talaga ako makastart ng kahit ano, na kahit po manager ako, leader ako, hindi po ako empowered in that way. Start po talaga with the small things. Kunyari, mag-SL kayo kung pagod kayo. Pakita nyo po sa galaw ninyo, sa teammates ninyo na well-being is important. I take well-being very much important. It is my priority. And I hope na you too will take it as your priority. And yun. So, make it your priority and help others make it their priority as well. And i-encourage po natin, reinforce po natin. Yun. Thank you.
Thank you, John and Monica. I'm sure our participants learned a lot. And syempre yung sagot nilang dalawa kanina is very in line with how we create our positivity, our positive culture, di ba? It's the positivity ripples that start with the self. And yung simpleng pag-attend nyo pa lang dito sa webinars namin, di ba? Talagang it's already one way on how you can start prioritizing well-being in your own workplace. So we're done with the February series and we're so excited to invite you to our March series with the theme, The Future is Female, Women and Well-Being in the Workplace. So we are going to discuss topics on the power of nurture in workplaces, speaking up and stepping up, and positive hacks against toxic masculinity. That will be held on March 9, 16, and 23. Again, we are also inviting everyone to join our positive management course. It will be on March 11, 18, 25, and April 1. And for updates, you can just follow us on Facebook. Last, if you have any questions or concerns or you want to inquire about our different products and services, you can send us an email at learn@positiveworkplaces.org. So we can draft up a learning session for you and your company. Thank you very much, everyone. We're just gonna keep the meeting room open in a while. So Joyce can also share the evaluation form for those who still haven't answered the form.
Yes. Pakitama po yung inyong pangalan at email address. Kasi po, hindi na po nagre-resend si Chi ng ng mali na certificate para daw matuto yung mga tao mag-encode ng tamang pangalan. So please make sure your name and your email addresses are correct para po automatic na ma-receive nyo kaagad yung inyong certificate. Salamat po sa inyo. Monica, maraming salamat. My God, sobrang star-studded ka talaga. Kasi meron kang 500 I think 530 yung nakita ko na pinakamataas na attendee for today. 530 yata yung max sa ano. So, great job on your on your bulk learning experience.
Thank you, Gabby, for having me. Thank you, Gabby, for
Alam niyo,
informing.
may question po talaga ako, Sir Eustachio. Ano po ibig sabihin ng SACC? Kanina pa po talaga ako nako-curious. Ang dami po kasi may SACC doon sa ano. For my curiosities. For my curiosity lang. Ginugel ko pa nga kanina, hindi ko talaga makita. Baka title yon, no? Title.
Baka?
Feeling ko nga. Another interesting topic. Yeah, thank you so much, everyone. Shout out to Miss Grace Dugay also, who's listening. She was my client before when I was still with SGS. Yeah.
Thank you so much, everyone, for joining.
Thank you.
And nakikinig kayo sa aking exercises.
Yes. Uy, pwede na yata pwede na